tenant you.
When is a landlord guilty of negligence? By Jenna Marie, December 15, 2018. When landlords violate health and housing codes, they can be found negligent in a lawsuit. Whether you are a tenant or a landlord, learn how neglecting a request for repairs may lead to serious penalties. Landlords must maintain rental properties to state and local standards for habitability. For every rental property, a warranty of habitability is implied, which means that it meets expectations for residency and will not jeopardize the health or safety of tenants. Timeline for repairs. Landlords must arrange for immediate repairs when a tenant's health or safety is affected. Some examples include a hole in the roof, wall, or window, broken water heaters, faulty smoke detectors, bad electrical wiring, rodents or mold. If the repairs does not immediately threaten health and safety, the tenant should expect the landlord to make the repair within a reasonable time, generally 30 days. If the landlord will not take care of serious repairs immediately, tenants can file complaints with various local agencies such as the Building Safety Office, the Health Department, or other city or county offices. Negligent landlords. Tenants should report all repairs to the landlord in writing and keep a copy of each request. Documenting every conversation and keeping all written requests can help in the event of a dispute in which the parties must go to court. Depending on the type of problem, the duration of neglect, and the severity of its effect on health or safety, tenants can file a lawsuit against their landlords. The law supports tenants who make multiple repair requests to ask for their rental property meets the implied warranty of habitability. Tenants can file a lawsuit in California's small claim court or even Superior Court if the negligence is severe enough. When the landlords refuse to act upon serious repair requests, they are neglecting their responsibilities and endangering the tenants. Cause of action. Tenants can have several causes of action against landlords who neglect their rental property and put their health and safety at risk as a result. Some causes of action are a breach of the warranty of habitability, which means one or more of the specific habitability requirements as outlined in California Civil Code 1941-1 are not in place. Examples include no hot or cold water running, poorly constructed or repaired structures, broken toilets or broken locks. Another cause of action is negligent or intentional infliction of emotional distress, which depends on the duration and severity of the condition. An example of this is the stress and pain suffered from effects of an apartment fire when a landlord did not repair faulty smoke detectors after several requests. Negligence and liability. The landlord can be held liable for injuries, loss of property, emotional anguish, and even the cost of the tenant relocating to another rental property if it can be shown that an action or inaction was negligent. When tenants can show the court that the landlord received several repair requests, had adequate time and means to make the repair, and chose not to make corrections, the landlord can be found guilty of negligence. A guilty verdict can mean fines, reparations, and possibly jail time. So the reason why I actually wanted to discuss this here, even though it's in California, a lot of this actually does apply over here, and our landlord seems to be doing exactly the same thing. There's repairs from a fire that was not dealt with in a timely manner, where people were out of electricity for I don't know how long. And this made the news. We've had dangerous dust being carried into the elevators, very most likely containing asbestos, and open containers, not even sealed properly, thrown in a regular garbage bin, albeit most of the time was being thrown into a construction garbage bin, but it's a hazardous material, should not be thrown out there. We've been exposed to God knows how much stress and distress, and I think it's important to talk about when we have repairs that are requested, and the way the city rewards this. So when I called the Rent Safe office, they basically told me that tenants have to make a request for repairs to the landlord, and hopefully written. Now, once you filed that repair request, the landlord would have 7 days to respond. If they do not, then you can actually contact the city. You make a complaint with 311 over at the City of Toronto, and the City of Toronto will take that request. Once they have between 1 and 5 business days. So now if you're actually at the 5 business days levels, because they're very busy or they're short on staff, which happens, they will have this could, if it's on a Wednesday afternoon you call, it's likely, the weekend doesn't count, so it's going to be 7 days. They're going to show up on the Wednesday. So they have up till Wednesday. So now you're up to 14 days. From there, depending on the severity of the request, they will have a certain amount of time to actually deal with the situation. So at this point, let's say it's 30 days or whichever, now you're into a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months. Now, as long as they're actually doing the work in a timely manner according to the city, they are then rewarded with a positive review in the Rent Safe Toronto website, which is absolutely absurd. And I'll give you an example. Last year we had an issue with the snow. The snow started, I think it was on January 17th, 18th of 2022, and none of the walkways were salted. None of the walkways were actually shoveled. It was an ice rink for I don't know how long, and city enforcement did show up and told them, well, you have to deal with it. The problem is that the maximum amount of time that they could give them, or the minimum amount of time that the officer could give the city, was 29 days. So the property owners had 29 days to respond to actually correct the situation. But meanwhile, if there's any snow that falls, it's going to be pushed back another 29 days. So if there's another snowfall, the 29 days no longer applies. It starts from that date. Now we can discuss the ridiculousness of this, and yet in the spring when the snow melts, they've resolved this properly. And unfortunately, they're going to be given a good review in Rent Safe. So when you have somebody, so this is the City of Toronto rewarding landlords after ignoring a tenant's request, right the first time. And when I send a request to the landlord, automatically I should be rewarded with, how can I help? Let's make an appointment. Let's take a look at this. Except over here, 99% of the times, we're being ignored completely. I have to call the city. City then gets involved. Because the city gets involved, automatically should be a poor review. No, what they do is they reward them because they've actually dealt with the problem in a timely manner. So basically, they're incentivizing them not doing anything, because why would they do something if it's not reported properly to the office? Then they're not going to do any, to the city. Then they're unrewarded by the city. The city is rewarding them once I complain to the city in order for them to do something, which they had refused to do by ignoring me. If you ignore me, you're exactly going against the rules. So now I have to complain. I have to do an extra step. I have to call the city in order for you to do something about it. And you're pretty happy as a landlord to see that, because now you're going to get a good review in RentSafe. And I don't need to explain too much how ridiculous the entire premise is, but this is basically what the city is telling us. Please comment below. Let me know what you think. I would be happy to hear something. If there's anything else you want me to narrate, let me know. Thank you. Have a great day. Rebel Tenant out.